Good everyone, on today's video. Today we're going to be covering the Tank RB Daily Easy Tasks. This is going to be done for planes as well, which will be, well, you'd have already seen that video first, but I'm recording the tank one first. Essentially, we're going to be talking about the different tasks, we're going to be describing the vehicles that are best suited for it, and generally speaking, I'm going to try and keep it to rank 2, because obviously these can be done in rank 2 vehicles. There will be occasionally the odd rank 2, or rank 3 I should say, slipped in here. But generally speaking, I want to try and keep it to rank 2 if I can. So before we begin, I would appreciate if people shared this video. As I said in the special task video, this is because I would think that people would love to see more help when it comes to these tasks. Some of these tasks can be a little bit difficult for some, and sharing this video to get it to more people, and just in general, would really benefit the community overall, and that's what I really want to do. And obviously with the other projects that I've got in the works, it will obviously be done accordingly. So let's get cracking. So, out of the ordinary. When required number of battles with the total amount of tank rescue streaks being received in every battle being greater than or equal to 1, and you need to win exactly 1 match getting one of these. Generally speaking, this can be done in pretty much anything you like. As long as you're in a rank 2 vehicle and you stay near your team, keep them alive, you will get this challenge done without even realising, to be honest. As long as your teammate takes a ding or loses a track and you shoot the enemy that did it, generally speaking, you'll get this task done and you won't even realise it. Getting the win can obviously be a little bit difficult, so if you are struggling with that, there is a link to the Discord server in the description below. Do feel free to join our Discord and we will help you out. But generally speaking, you can do this in practically anything. And yeah, you just got to focus on getting the win. So make sure to get your caps, make sure to use CAS once you've done your challenge. Things like that. And just generally speaking, don't one and done this challenge, because it can obviously get, like, you do obviously need the win. So participating enough to get that would be appreciated for your team, I'm sure. Next up is Tactical Efficiency. Destroy player vehicles using a light or medium tank. 3 kills. Anything you wish will really work here. I'd recommend either the M4, the T-34 1942, the Panzer IV F2, or the P-40. The P-40 is there if you want a challenge. Everything else is pretty simple to use and can pretty much kill everything at their BR. The M4 can comfortably kill and bounce around if it needs to. The T-34 can do the same. The Panzer IV has a better gun than both of those, plus the P-40, but it's a glass cannon. So really it's down to what you prefer, and you only need 3 kills. So you can do this over multiple spawns. As for light tanks, there's stuff like M5A1, T-50, the Puma, the 234-2, things like that, and this will go by quicker than you think. And as I said, you can do this in pretty much any rank 2 you like, as long as it's a light or a medium tank. You will not be able to do this in a heavy tank. Trust me, I've seen people trying to do this in a heavy tank, and I have to just point at them and go, why don't you just read the task? But people don't. So next up is Pioneer. Get the series of capture streak required number of times. Base capture streak times 2. All this means is you have to get 2 caps in a match. And generally speaking, anything that is quick can do this. Now, I know some people are going to say, why is the BT5 on here? It's not a rank 2. Well, there's a little trick. As long as you spawn in a rank 2 vehicle, you can do this in a BT5 if you wish. But, you know. General suggestions like the 94KM ZIS-12, the R3T20, which is a rank 3, the BT5, and obviously by the time this video comes out, the patch would likely have dropped, so CM52 for the Italians would be more than appropriate for getting this task done. So there you go. It's pretty simple to do. You just cap 2 points, and obviously some matches you won't be able to do this like on the battle maps, but you know, you might be able to capitalize on it if the enemy is rushing your spawn and trying to cap your point, which they'd be stupid to try that, but you know. And then obviously you can cap their point and get a base capture streak times 2. So it can be a bit situational on one of those maps, but generally speaking, on a domination map, you should have this done without even trying. Next is Activist. Win required number of battles with needed activity percent, 80% or more activity, 1 victory. Any lineup that is consistent, squad best advisor strong enough for a win, generally speaking. This is because generally you don't tend to struggle when it comes to wins and activity, but obviously in lower tiers it can be a bit more tricky. So build yourself a consistent lineup like the 2.7 US lineup will be more than appropriate for this. Something like Russia 3.3 would also be pretty appropriate, same with 3.7. And generally speaking, if it's not the lineup and it's the teams, just join a 4-man squad and you'll have this done in no time at all. Next is Firepower. Destroy player vehicles using an SBG, 2 kills. Now, I think Gaijin needs to update these because they're not called SBGs anymore. They're called Tank Destroyers. And yeah, I think Gaijin needs to update these because SBG hasn't been used for a long time. But you only need 2 kills. And the vehicles that I'm suggesting here, one of them is rank 3. But you can also do this in a PvKV3, which is a rank 2. But, you know, if it's stock, don't bother, that's all I'll say, because I remember spading that damn thing. But generally speaking, the M10, the SU-122, the Marder 3H, or the regular Marder 3 will do, and the PvKV2 or KV3 will be more than fine for this. You only need 2 kills, and these tank destroyers have hard-hitting guns which can generally one-shot, so don't be worried about that. Next is Vigilante. Help allied players to destroy the enemies. 3 assists. This can be done in pretty much anything that doesn't one-shot consistently. What I mean by consistently means if you're not getting one-shots in it 24/7, excuse me, generally speaking, it's going to be good for this task. So something like an SDKFC 234-2 Puma, the M5A1, and other tanks that fire solid shot like the British tanks will be more than appropriate for this, because generally speaking, they need a couple of shells to kill a target. And getting assists in this just requires you to have a team that can actually shoot and things like that, but generally speaking that doesn't always happen. So if you are struggling in this, get your teammate, or your squad mate I should say, to give you a hand with this, and this should be pretty simple. Next is Slow But Sure. Destroy player vehicles using a heavy tank. 2 kills. Gave you 1 out of 11. Enough said. This thing is so simple to use. Its armor is pretty strong. Obviously if people know where to shoot it, its armor becomes irrelevant, especially with the German guns, but generally speaking, this thing can get 2 kills a match, and it can be pretty comfortable in doing so. So this is the one I use if I ever get this task, and it gets it done pretty quickly. Next is Happy Ending. Win required number of battles with 50% or more activity. You need 2 wins for this. And generally speaking, Russia 3.7 will be more than appropriate for this. This is because you get access to the KV1 L11, like I previously mentioned. The T34 1941, you can also use the 1940 variant if you wish. You can also up-tier something like the ZIS-30 if you wish to. You can also use the SU-57, and generally there's a lot of options that you can choose for this. And as I said, 50% or more activity is very easy to do, and generally speaking, it's not one that you really struggle on, but you can sometimes get German try-hard teams which just slaughter, so just bear that in mind. If you're struggling, try Germany 3.7. Next is 1 step ahead. Get the according to intelligence streak required number of times. This only needs 1. This is best done in a squad because teammates don't tend to scout stuff anymore. This is due to the rather low payout of light tanks and everything, which they should give the light tanks a buff in my opinion. Squad up with a teammate in a light tank, they scout, you shoot it. Simple as that. And this can be done in pretty much any light tank on your squad mate side at least. As long as you have a gun that can one-shot or at least cripple the enemy tank so it can't fight back, and you can finish it off, this should be pretty simple to do. And generally speaking, if your squad mate even dies after getting the scout, it's not a problem as long as you kill the tank that they scouted. And I believe it's about a 45-second timer. So if you can't kill someone in 45 seconds, you've either got the worst aim in the world or you're using a KV2 and you missed your first shot. So there you go. Next is Triumphator. Win a battle, take a required place in the team, 1 to 6. You need 1 win for this. Play a consistent lineup. Germany 3.7, Russia 4.7, Britain 4.3, 4.7. Another few is obviously Russia 3.7, America 2.7, and that's just to name a few. There's so many different lineups you could use for this. And coming in place 1 to 6 is really easy. Caps, kills, CAS, any cast, you name it, you can do this, and it's that simple. Next is Unexpected Threat. Destroy player vehicles using an SPAA, which is an anti-aircraft vehicle. And this only requires 1 kill. Any rank 2 SPAA can do this. I recommend either the M16 MGMC, the CCKW353AA, the one in the Chinese tree, I'm being specific here, the M42, and I don't mean the Duster in the American tree, I mean the Italian one in the Italian tree, the little Semavente, the one based on the M15 it is. I think it's called the Contrario. And the SDKFC 251-21. As I said earlier about the patch being released by the time this video comes out, I would probably say you could throw in the CM52 for this, the new truck that's coming. Obviously, when at the moment I'm recording this video, I've only seen the CM52, but I know it's going to be good for this task because it's got the same quad mount as the M16 and the CCKW. So, yeah. I think it's called it's not actually called the CCKW 353. I think it's called the M45 or something, but it doesn't matter. Either way, the one in the Chinese tree will do you good, and the rest of the SPAs can do this without even trying. Next is Tiger. Play a battle, destroy required number of enemy tanks, 1 or more ground vehicle kills in 2 games. This is really, really simple. Take anything that's rank 2, shoot some poor sod in the face, do it twice in 2 separate games, done. That simple. If you really need advice on that, all I will say is take the KV-1L11 and just do it in that, because you'll be done in no time. That thing can get kills, that thing can bounce a shot, and most importantly, its reloads are not too bad. So, yeah, if you're struggling to get this one, yeah. And you can also do this technically in CAS as well. So, if you're really struggling, just rush a cap in a truck or a BT-5, get in a plane, and just bomb some poor sod who's just started playing the game. Job done. Next is Ground Superiority. Play required number of battles where any of the streaks from the list have been received. Heavy Metal Hero, Mission Maker, Punisher, Wingman, Heavy Metal Fury, Balancer, Bulletproof, Balancer, and On Hand. You only need 1 game for this, and remember, you do not need to win. I'd actually suggest going for Heavy Metal Fury, and if you're inexperienced, I would actually say go for the On Hand one. Heavy Metal Fury requires you to, I believe it's get 6 kills at least, which you can do that in CAS as well. So as long as you have a pretty good lineup like Germany 3-7, you'll have this done without even trying. That's all I'll say. Obviously you don't need to win, so don't worry about caps or anything like that, just go for the kills. That's all that matters here. If you're going for on hand, you're going to need something like the British, which has a, shall we say, a lack of APHE, but obviously there is a specific reason for that, which is why the British tanks were made the way they were. But, you know, if you need an explanation on that, I'll answer it in the comments. But yeah, generally speaking, just go for Heavy Metal Fury, and if you're not as experienced, go for on hand. That's where you need at least, I believe it's 4 or 5 assists, I can't remember exactly. But you'll probably get this without even trying. Next is Turret to Turret. Win required number of battles getting teamwork or supporting fire in each of them. You only need 1 of these. This is one where you can do it on your own with an auto squad mate as long as you've got it turned on. Otherwise, you will need a squad mate for this, which is obviously why the Discord server is open to you. This can be done also in planes in Tank RB, because for some reason tanks, when it comes to Tank RB, if a plane is like 2 miles away and it gets a kill, you for some reason, if it's your auto squad mate at least, for some reason you get teamwork or supporting fire even if you don't even shoot at the plane. So I don't know why, but you know, that's just Gaijin logic. So it's really simple to do this. Again, if struggling with the win, just go in a 4-man squad, you'll have this done in no time. Next is Set to Work. Get the help with repairing streak required number of times. Help with repairing 1 streak. Stay near your team cluster, play Russia for best results. This one also has a cheeky little exploit, which I'm going to tell you. Now, on some maps this won't work, but you need maps with a decent body of water. What you'll need to do is you'll need to drive your tank in engine first to make sure only the engine drowns itself. Obviously, you'll need a squad mate to do this, which is why I'm saying you should do this in a squad more like. And your squad mate should go engine bay first into the water, obviously without drowning themselves completely, because that would be wasting your time. And all you need to do is repair their engine once, and off you go. Job done. Pretty much as simple as that. I know it says streak, but you literally just need to do this once, and it's that simple. If you're not willing to do that, then just stay near your squad mate or a teammate in a light tank and just repair them whenever they get hit. Simple as that. Next is Bullseye. May require number of critical hits. 7 critical hits. This can just be done casually by playing at any BR or rank 2 vehicles. The reason why I say that is because if you get a crew member, that's a critical hit. If you set a tank on fire, guess what? That's a critical hit. And if you decide to shoot some poor plane in the face, that is also a critical hit, unless you one-shot it with an AP round. But, you know, that's just logic. But still, generally speaking, this is pretty simple to do. Next up is Bird Hunt. Destroy enemy aircraft in combined battles. Bots or players, 1 kill. I don't know why it says bots, because you do not see bots anymore in Tank RB. There used to be a time, and if you're a veteran player and you've made it this far, see if you remember this as well. Do you remember the days when there used to be a G4M1 just doing donuts in the entire battlefield, and you used to be able to do Bird Hunt on it if you decided to? Yeah, I remember those days, but they removed that, so I don't know why they call it bots or players anymore. This is pretty simple to do. You just use an SPAA, and if you need help with any of them, I've recommended some in the unexpected threat part. But if you don't want to do that, just use an F4, F3, BF109E1, A6M2N, etc. These are great anti-CAS aircraft, and they can also provide a little bit of support to the team. I mean, the bombs are pretty shit on some of them, but yeah, this is pretty simple to do. And finally, we are at the top, rather conveniently. Played a battle taken required, it would help if I can speak, required place in the team, place 1 to 5. 1 game. Remember, this is not one you need to win, so just play any lineup you enjoy. If you want to be dirty, just use America 2.70. You'll have this done with your eyes closed. Not literally, don't do this with your eyes closed, because you might just drive into like 3 SU-152s with heat loaded, so yeah, don't drive with your eyes closed. Especially don't do that in real life, because driving with your eyes closed might have Officer Dibble on your case. And if you don't get that reference, then just Google it. Just pretty much play a lineup you enjoy. Just make sure you get 1 to 5, focus on caps, anti-CAS, providing support to your teammates, things like that, and you'll have this done without even trying. So, that's the end of the Tank RB Daily Easy tasks. Obviously, there will be one done on the medium tasks eventually for both air and ground. So make sure to look forward to that. Obviously, as I said, I'm recording the tank one before I do the plane one because I decided to just change it up a little bit. I mean, it doesn't matter because you've seen the Tank RB one after the plane one anyway, but you get my point. Anywho, I'm going to leave you all to it. I hope you enjoyed today's advice on Tank RB Daily Easy Tasks, and I will see you all on the next one.